1997 with three stallions, pitcher Chris Coro, pitcher Rob Hymick, and battery catcher Michael Cooper. First, we're going to start off with the pitcher and assistant manager of the Stallions, Chris Coro. Chris, how you doing today?
All right, thank you.
Pretty good. Chris, so it's 1997. It's a new year. What's going on this year?
We're taking a whole series route this year. We're gonna go all out this year. It's gonna be a little different than normal. We're designating power to only a few instead of to the many, and we're being sponsored this year, which is a big thing for us. You know, actually being sponsored with a decent amount of money, and we're looking forward to actually getting our name recognized by more than Smithtown. We're trying to get us recognized by the nation instead.
Okay, now we move over to the pitcher Rob Hymick. Rob, what do you feel about the new additions of Mike DeCero and Joe Karpowitz?
Joe Karpowitz is a solid arm in the outfield. Good character to have around. Decent amount of power. Mike DeCero, he's a comedian, but when it comes to playing ball, he's very serious. I think he'll add maybe a good 5 to 10 home runs.
Coop, you've gone from second baseman to catcher in 1 year. What does that do for a young man such as yourself?
Well, I'm very happy about the move. It'll give me the opportunity to concentrate solely on offense, and I won't have to worry about defense, which has been a problem for me in the past.
Guys, we're going to ask you all these one question. There's a competition going on between many players, but there's one noted competition that's going on at third base. As three veterans, knowing these two people well, how do you foresee this competition between George Leosakis and John Daly? Chris, we'll start with you first.
Well, I think they both have things that they could bring to the team. And I think if the ideal thing is that there's not one pure person better than the other, we'd probably like to take the two of them and combine certain attributes that they both have. But we know that's impossible. So I think we're just basically looking to see who can help the team the best. We've always had trouble offensively. I think that's our big need right now. I think who can supply us with that the best. Both people have shown that they can. Both people have shown sometimes they can't. We need a clutch player, basically. We need somebody who, both of them are probably going to hit low in the lineup, but we need somebody who's going to more or less get the rest of the players in who are in the middle of the order. And we need somebody who's going to come down and hold that third base line down for us, because as we get into the bigger competition, these players are going to know where to put the ball.
Chris, your prediction right now, who's going to win the battle?
My prediction?
You're on the spot.
I have to go with...
They'll both be watching this.
Can I plead the fifth?
Nope, you can't. All right, well Rob, we'll let Chris go last since he answered the first question. Rob, I'm gonna ask you, who do you want as your third baseman?
Well, that's going to be tough. Known George for years. George is a good player, but George has mental lapses. Daly is
Yeah, we know that.
John Daly's good also, but he's older. And I guess after a while looking at tapes and playing with him, actually I was going with George in the beginning, but I've actually swung my decision towards Daly, because Daly is more stable, and I think Daly will become more durable than George.
What if George is watching this right now? What would you say?
George, I'm sorry, I'm going with the better player, and that's what we're looking for. The best will play, and the rest, we'll have to watch.
Coop, what do you say?
Well, I think that both of them taken together will probably end up answering the third base situation this year, but I don't think they're the answer at this point down the road, mostly because JD's gotten a little older. But
Are you lobbying for that position, Cooper?
no. No, but JD, I think, is definitely, when he plays his game at his best, he's the third baseman for our team. But he does go into sometimes he goes into slumps, both defensively and offensively. George has the talent, there's no question, but he has like Rob said, mental lapse big time. He definitely has to throw it down, and if he worked on it, he'd be the third baseman for a bunch of years to come. But right now, I think may have to be looking elsewhere in future years for a third baseman.
Whoa, you kind of dissed both of them, Coop. But all right, Chris, so you're back on the spot now. If you had to predict one guy without an explanation, who would it be?
I think Rob Hynek, so I can pitch.
Well, while we're on that subject.
I'll answer the other one. My prediction.
Payne? Payne?
I think, and this is nothing against John's playing, but I'd have to go with George right now. The only factor is I've seen a lot more of George over the years, some of that good, some of that bad. I've seen, unlike Ray and Rob, who I think have played another full season with John, I've only seen him for one year so far. And I think that George, being that he's younger, I think George, being that he's more versatile, and we need somebody in a spot to be it pitch, to be it play the outfield, whatever it may be.
Well, if we need someone to do that, then he's fine. But yeah, I don't think George is going to be able to stand down there in third.
All right, keep
I don't
going.
know. He's done it.
Those big guys rocking and balls.
Yeah, he's done. That's the one. JD gets in front of the ball. The only thing I worry about is the range on JD, and he's much braver than George and getting in front of the ball. George is basically a chicken as far as I'm concerned, and I don't blame him. I'd probably be the same way. But I think that I think offensively at this point in time, and JD may prove me otherwise, George may be the person to go with. But only time will tell, and we'll have to see. George has the capacity to screw himself without even taking the field. He's got the capacity to do it because of other personal reasons. So we'll have to see.
You know, this is the first year in many years that I've seen smile on all three of you guys' faces. It seemed like a more relaxed atmosphere this year. What is it? Rob, we'll start with you. What is it that makes this team more relaxed this year versus last year?
Meaning the new team we put together?
Yeah.
I think we're better quality ball players. We've dumped some dead weight.
A lot of weight, right?
Well, I don't want to pick on the guy, but we have a bunch of guys that. It's all right, Chris. We have a bunch of guys that are really good friends. We have a bunch of characters on the team, and basically, if you look at us, we've got to be just like Cleveland Indians or Philadelphia Phillies back then when they had John Kruk and Darren Bolton and Mitch Williams.
Oh yeah. Who would be Mitch Williams?
It'd be Chris Coyle.
Chris, let me ask you a question. Going from a starter in '88 all the way through '93, not starting in the '92 championship game, but started the '93 championship game, not starting the '95 college championship game. You've bounced back and forth, but you always seem to make some kind of comeback. What's your feelings this year? As if the season started today, you'd probably be number 2 behind Rob. So what's your feeling going into this season?
No, I mean, honestly, I want to play ball. And, I've discussed that with Ray, and I think Ray knows how I feel. But, I'm going to try my hardest. I'm going to, I think, laxed in the last couple of years. I think I was a little confident in the fact that I didn't think I was going to be kicked out. And Ray made a point and did what he had to do. I may not change.
Wait, what was that comment?
But I'm looking to play ball, and time will tell. Again, as it will with George and JD, time will tell with me. And if my future is here, it's here. But somewhere else, it's somewhere else. But I like.
That's another question too. You've been drafted by a couple other teams who are trying to be lured over there, like the Heelys, and even though they're a lesser caliber team, but you would get the start. What is your decision on that?
Well, I like what's going here. I think we got a lot of good things going. I've built a lot of good friendships here. I mean, I consider myself, whether I'm on the field or not,
A big cock.
one, one of the more respected veterans. At least I hope by some. I mean, my play may not show it sometimes, but but I'm glad to be a part of this, and I'm glad to see it actually start off, and I hope I'm here for the continuation of it, and I enjoy taking trips with these guys, and I'll hope.
Coop, as far as doing everything, you're more or less the guy that stays out of the way, but you are responsible for getting Mike Heinz, Joe Karpowitz, and I think that's about it. But these are two giant players that have been building blocks for this organization, especially in the last 2 years. First, what you see in these two guys, and how do you feel they'll fit with the team?
He just needs to work on a couple things, and he's pretty much all set. As long as he makes the commitment to us, which is very important. Kopowitz, we also play in the fall, and we know he has a lot of power, and he's solid defensively with a good arm, and hopefully he'll fit in with our chemistry and be able to supply that much needed power in the lineup.
Guys, where's the big trip going to be this year?
Myrtle Beach. Nah, I like Myrtle Beach again.
I like
Maybe it's that girl in Myrtle Beach, right, Rob?
I like Myrtle Beach.
The 13-year-old?
That's George.
Oh, all right.
What about you when you're 13-year-old, right?
Yeah, I don't know nothing. Well, the year is 1997. It's funny how Star Wars is getting brought back after 20 years, and a couple of recycled veterans from the Kings Park Stallions are coming back, such as Todd Rapley and Timmy Griffin. What's the reasoning behind that? Chris, you're in management. What do you?
I think a part of it has to do with, as we want to be committed to the future, we want to be committed to our past, and I think we care about the people who've played for us in the past. We like to keep the players who started this whole thing going. Without these guys, we wouldn't be where we are right now. We've won our first few championships with those guys, and they're a big part of our history. And I think before we want to automatically shut them out, we want to give them another shot at becoming our future again.
Rob, this is one of the few years that you have a clean slate. No restraining order, no big time. I had to bring it up. Sorry. No girlfriend controversies. You seem at peace with yourself. Maybe you're in love with God or something. I don't know, like those black guys are. But this is the first year you're calm, you're collective, and your pitching has really come through. What's the change in the last couple of years?
Basically, I've matured. I've actually gotten back to hanging out with the right crowd again. Yes, Mr. Cooper, you're in that. Basically,
You're right.
after a couple of years of straying away from the team, I've gone and done my own thing with the wrong people, but now that I'm back in the family, it's time to just concentrate on ball, and that's it.
You got a girlfriend coming up soon? Or? Oh yeah. What about Christine, Rob?
No, the only thing I'm interested in is playing softball when girls come second.
Oh, I like that comment, Rob. All right, we'll be back in a minute. With the three veterans from the Stallions, Rob Hymick, Chris Coro, and Mike Cooper, three guys that have been around since 1989, long time. Guys, in 1989, 1990 was 2 fun years for this organization. A lot of fun. Team was a family. For the latter part of the 90s, the beginning of the 90s, team kind of separated. They didn't hang out anymore. Even last year, we weren't much of a team. This year, it seems like it's. Oh, was that Rob or the dog? Well, it seems like this year it's everybody's starting to hang out again. It's a family. 2-part questions. Why do you think we're acting like a family again? And was 89 and 90 a better year for this team as far as playing wise? What do you think, Chris?
I think we're close this year. Because we've gotten people who are more devoted to the team than to themselves. I think we've gotten people where their personalities mesh more with the people who have stayed with this team. I don't know Joe Karpowitz. I know DeSero, and he's got a great sense of humor. Seems like a great guy from what I've known of him. And I think he's what we're looking for personality-wise, I'm sure talent-wise also. I think that we've also been able to do activities that have enveloped the whole team and not just a couple of individuals, and I think that's a big thing. Whether it's better than the 89-90, I don't know. We had some good times back then.
Randy Lodato.
And I think as much as we fought, we had some good times because, I guess we were young and reckless. I don't know, but there are some stories I guess back then, car fires and I don't know, house eggings or whatever else you want to call them. But
yeah, don't forget the Whites. Now we got Christine and Tara, Miss White and Amy.
But I think we're looking at some good times ahead of us. We've seen it in tournaments, and I think we got 11 guys right now who can all go out and have a good time with each other. And I hope so. I hope it's not just the 2 or 3 hours on the field. I hope it's a bunch of the hours after.
Well, all you guys have your own opinions of how to run organizations, and people have said things in the past of how this team was run. And in your best view, how do you think this team can improve management-wise? What can the management do to make this team better? Besides getting rid of him, what is it that everybody's got some kind of devil's advocate? And I'd like to hear all three of yours. And we're going to start with Mike Cooper, since he's usually the quietest one. But even though just about all of us here are management, but things are done always differently, and everybody would like to run things their own way. So, Coop, how would you run the show differently? Just one thing.
Well, first let me say that I think you do a hell of a job considering how much time it takes.
Yeah, the new assistant.
Considering how much time it takes for all that, has to be done to get done. Obviously we help you out a little bit here and there, but you do most of it, so thank you for that. But if we could improve, or if you...
Gonna deep throat him now.
Well, it's my opportunity to publicly defend you. If we could improve one thing, I don't know, I can't... Right on the spot, maybe we should
I think Rob can help you out with that. Rob, you seem to have nice things to say a lot, Rob. But well, if you can change one thing, I mean, that's in every organization, everywhere you go, even though if it's perfect or not. If you can change one thing, what would it be?
Because we could be winning a game, and the next thing you know, we're changing positions around, which is totally stupid. You're there to play. You should be concentrating on winning. That's it. Not sitting with their girlfriend on a bench or on the sideline.
Dave Pacino. Chris, you are kind of management. You do make a lot of decisions. So what would you make different if you were the head of the tournament team? Raise a cock. You said A, so...
I would say just instill discipline. I think I've always been a little more vocal about that than Ray. And I think Ray tries to go for the more...
Majority.
Yeah, helping certain players out. Right?
Well,
I think though that I think this is still a little more discipline. I think we have to show the players, especially the new ones and some of the old ones who aren't too disciplined yet, that we mean business this year, and not to the point where kill them for every little thing that happens, but I think just to start showing that we're really serious about this.
Today, this year is 1997. It's been 6 years since the loss of 1991. That loss is still shown on tape, and it's still shown in our memories. And don't forget, that was our high school project, and we never completed it. Has the Chris, you got thrown at the plate. Rob, you didn't do much of anything. And Coop, Coop, you made about 14 errors in one game. So, and myself, I'll go on the bat. I didn't do shit either. So, but you guys, have you had any memories about that, or is that totally washed out of your minds? Anybody can answer that question.
Successes in the years that followed that have kind of washed that out, in my mind at least. We've had a lot of good seasons, a lot of good games, individual games. I think, personally, I don't think about that at all.
I do. Thank God you
I
don't.
think that made us a better team, because we realized that we have a good core of players, that it's time to we just can't play with our friends anymore. We got to get better ball players and move on, and that's what we did. Now we're one of the top teams in Smithtown.
Yo, Chris, you were the pitcher that year.
I think it made us hungry. I think it made us realize that we weren't as good as we thought we were. I think we were, we still may be, but I think we were very cocky back then. But I think...
Main word, cock.
I think it enabled us to get better, though. I think.
There you go, Rob.
I think, I don't think about it that much. We've accomplished so much. I mean, we're going across the country now to play ball. I mean, so...
Tim Lynch.
So I don't think about it that much.
If I had asked you guys who was your, I mean, so many players have come and gone, and who was your favorite player of all time, with the guy you had most fun with? He could still be around. And who was the, well, I know everybody's answers to this one. Who was your, the toughest guy to get along with? And Chris, we'll go with you first. Who do you think your favorite guy was to play with? I mean, it could be humor. Who was the guy you probably liked the most? I mean, if you want, we could exclude the present company here, because Coop will say me, and then no, I mean this way you just.
There'd be a couple for different reasons. I like playing with Johnny Raimondi. I think he gave it his all.
Grosso poco miseria.
Free pizza, maybe. I think he was. I think he epitomized the stallion. I think he was what we in a way we all looked up to want to play as, because he came down with the enthusiasm, no matter whether we were up by 10, down by 10, whatever it was. I enjoyed playing with him. He brought the whole team up. He started off the game usually, and you heard him from the moment the game started. And I'd say I like playing with him.
All right, who was the hardest person to play with, Chris?
I think this has been our controversies between me and Keith have been said many times in the past. So you know, I guess it's not a surprise for me to say. Keith Ewell and I didn't get along, and that was the bottom line. And
I think he's playing with you Sunday mornings.
Well, that's I don't know. That'll be something that has to be discussed, I guess.
Most promising stallion coming up.
Well, we got two of them.
Chocolates, the salad.
How most promising Sunday player.
Promising Sunday player.
Lesby.
Well, I like, and I don't know if he's playing with us. There's two guys who. Everybody.
Whose dog is that, by the way? Anyway.
There's two guys who play with us who haven't been able to play with us much. I like Craig Mansour. I think he's going to be a big thing. I think if we work on him in the next few years, he's got the defense already.
Rob, your favorite player?
My favorite player to play with, I would have to say, all time would have to be Dave Messina.
And why is that?
The first time he came up, he was very fiery. He was a very intense player, and watching him play brought out the best of me, because I wanted to be just as competitive as he was.
Most difficult player to get along with?
Actually, the most player I actually had a problem playing with in the beginning was Cooper.
Oh, shit.
Whoa.
I had problems playing with Cooper in the beginning because I didn't think Cooper was that good. To me, it seemed like he could have been better. All right, he got better. And it just seemed like sometimes he wasn't into playing. He seemed lackadaisical, but once I got to know him over a couple of years, he actually, just because he doesn't get frustrated and show it, that it doesn't mean it doesn't eat him up inside. And after knowing him for a couple of years now, I know it does eat him up, and he has become a better ball player.
Cool. What about you? I know you least favorite players now, but who do you think would be the best player?
I enjoyed playing with Scott a lot.
There you go. That's a good name from the past. I love Scott too.
The guy who hasn't played in a few years, but became good friends with him. And I enjoyed playing with him. Very fun guy, very into the game, played hard, had a good time.
How about least amount?
Well, I think there's people at times have difficulties getting along with certain
Answer
people.
the question.
Opening sentence. But myself, I usually don't let people around me bother me too much. I just try and play. But Keith was difficult to get along with, obviously. So I guess I'd have to say him.
All right, 2 for Keith, 1 for Coop. There we go. Where do you see the Steins in a couple years, Chris?
Couple of years. A solid D tournament team, a team that when we go down to tournaments, people don't ask who we are, but them regretting that they have to play us instead. A team that is known besides out here.
Where do you see yourself?
Keeping the scorebook. All right, even I don't know. I mean, where do I want to see myself? I want to see myself back where I started. I'm hoping that I regain that. I mean, unfortunately, because of the talent we've accumulated, the problem that is, if I see myself there, we may see Rob not out there, and that's unfortunate in its own sense because we've accumulated so much talent recently, and it's hard to say. I mean, I want to see myself out there, and I'm sure Rob wants to see himself out there too.
Well, I don't know. See, Rob, what do you feel your favorite position is? You've expressed many times that you do not want to pitch.
Actually, my favorite position is playing third. No, you're happy. But I mean, like I said, I like playing third, but if it comes down to where I'm needed to pitch, I'll pitch. It doesn't bother me. I'll play anyway, but I most likely playing third because at least if I know by me playing third and if Chris pitches, you're not going to suffer anywhere. I mean, because he's going to give everything he has up the middle to prove a point, and I'm going to prove a point at third that I'm going to be one of the best third basemen you've ever had on the Stallions.
What about the Greek base?
I don't see him as a challenge. George, you look at his tape, it's the truth. You're afraid of the ball hit at you?
Oh, Rob!
To play third and to pitch, you have to not be afraid of the ball. And that's a problem that we have with third base.
Cool. What about you? Where do you see yourself and the team in a couple of years?
Well, as you can see from this year, even last year, the team's always evolving and changing, bringing in new guys. For instance, Dave moved from short to second, myself moved from second to catcher. Always bringing in new guys, always moving around. So I think that's a positive, and we should keep bringing in good ball players. And myself, if I continue to hit well, then hopefully I'll remain on the tournament team. But if not, I'll always know I'll have a place to play on some Stallion team somewhere. I'm not very happy about that.
Many teams.
Right. All right, guys. Anything else to add? Anybody want to start any controversy or something like that? Rob, you always like to bring up something.
Controversy? No. Actually, I think the team we have right now is probably going to be one of the best teams we're ever going to have between adding Mike DeSaro, Karpowitz to line up. You're talking power and speed. You're bringing the Rowell brothers in, which give us even more power and speed. And the team is well balanced now between veterans that've been around to help each other out, and then we got the young guys on the team that make the older guys play a little harder. So I see this team excelling better than it has in years.
How about a prediction? Record, Night League, 28 games.
28 games, I'll say 20 and 8.
Tournament.
Tournaments, I see, if we're going to play in 10 tournaments, I see us winning, I'll say 5 right now, since we're just putting this team together now.
All right, what about you, Chris? What do you see the prediction? Any comments first?
I don't know. I guess I'm not as optimistic at this point as Rod, at least tournament-wise. Yeah, I don't know if we're going to win any. I mean, it's besides maybe a New Jersey tournament, I don't think we've come that close where we can say the added talent right now is going to put us over the edge. I see us being competitive at this point. I see us. I see us going another round or two maybe in the tournament. Whether we win the majority of them or some of them, I don't know. I see us competing with the best. I don't know if we'll beat them at this point in time. I think we may need a little more, but I see us competing with the best.
What's your Night League record prediction?
28-game season. I have to look at us at maybe like 17-11, maybe 16-12, somewhere around there. I'm not really sure what hold competition-wise. I know one of the better teams has been talked about folding. And we played a couple teams in League One. Some of them weren't too good. So I don't know. I'm not really sure. I'd like to go with a 16-12, 17-11, somewhere around there.
All right, Coop, what about you?
As far as Night League goes, I see us finish somewhere around 18-10. But one point I'd like to make here is that as long as we make the playoffs, I think we'll have a good shot at going all the way, because we did the same thing last summer. If we start off a little slow, I don't think that's a problem, because we'll build up to be playing our best ball as playoff time approaches, which is what you should be doing. And as far as tournaments go, I can see definitely at least 2 or 3 top fourth place finishes for us, and I think that's definitely a good start this year, and go from there.
All right, guys, spring training's in less than a month now, and it seems like the head's screwed on right this year. I think everybody's going to have a good time. Maybe we'll have a good year, and good luck to all 3 years, and hope to see you down the road. That's my cock. My 3 biggest dicks.
We are Ray Coyne, manager of the Kings Park.